Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and this is my YouTube channel Creative One. I'm also on Instagram as First Lady for Life. If you would be so sweet and so kind as to go ahead and hit the like button as well as the subscribe, and at the end of this video please do your girl a favor and share the video. So, welcome again. Most of my videos are surrounded around family, and it's an acronym for family, F.A.M.I.L.Y, Father and Mother, I love you. So normally I will have a question and it's going to be a topic regarding family, and I will go throughout the video and share my opinion and my answer, and also would love for you all to comment your answer or other questions that you may have and your views. Be greatly appreciated. So today's topic is just giving yourself a pat on the back. So on my Instagram, my message for today was no complaints. So I wanted to share with you all that I have to pat myself on the back for the things that I've surpassed and made it through. I see both my mother and my father in me, and it makes me feel good to just know that when I actually witness those wonderful traits that they both possess that was inherited and given to me, I'm so thankful. When I was younger, literally younger, 2 days old, I was left in a burning building, and I luckily survived. And I always go back to that because it makes me feel as though, man, there was a calling on my life in the beginning, and I just surpassed so many things. Getting up to my education, I was always one of the ones that was more of the honor roll, brighter children of my mother. I'd bring my report card home, no problem, because I knew straight A's. It was a struggle within high school. It was, as far as being able to be accepted, being a part of the popular crowd. And there was a lot of low self-esteem that I carried, to where is it that it drew me away from people, and I wasn't able to actually develop relationships and friendships despite that. So while I was in school, the actual educational part of this experience wasn't my issue. It was more of the social. And later on, I found out that this was something that I needed to learn. And I wind up and I did. So within my 8th grade year, I was overwhelmed with my self-esteem, where I literally just dropped out. 3 months in my 8th grade year. I know people like, in your 8th grade year, where was your mama? I played it so well. I got up every day and got dressed, walked out the door, made her think I was going to school, and did a U-turn back to the house. I did it. I'm owning it. And this is a true story, you guys. This is a true story. And I remember my homeroom teacher, who was also my social studies teacher. This actual teacher was one of the first ones that ever gave me a reason to want to even pay attention to social studies. I was ace in the class too, y'all. I was in a junior high, so I was going through things as far as I wanted to be accepted by people, but at the same time, I knew I had the education in the bag, because to me, I just felt like it was common sense. That's just me. I was probably a nerd, maybe so. But it was difficult for me to be able to deal with a lot of the social issues that I was facing at the time. And I just stopped. I didn't go. I stopped not going. And this was the first sign I seen of somebody who said, you got too much in you. I'm not going to sit here and let you just do nothing with it. This teacher showed up at my house, y'all. I messed around, and it was on a weekend. It shocked me too, because I'm thinking like, and my mama was there. And I had to be the one to answer the door. I peeped out the peephole. And my face was like, and my mama was like, who is that? And I didn't know how I was going to get past this one. People, when I say this man came in, he told my mama what was going on. And, we going to skip that part, but trust me, my mama made sure that wasn't going to be no situation. No. It's just like she just wasn't, she was hurt. I know a lot of stuff because it was like I was that child. They knew, oh, this one going to college. She graduated. They knew it. They had this one in the bag, so this was a hurt to her, and I get it. But I also felt really good to know this teacher felt that much about me. Yeah, it was 3 months before graduation that I had stopped going. So we were like maybe 2 weeks into about to graduate. And he just could not believe that he had not heard anything. But my mama, she wasn't really getting no 8th grades. It was crazy, but she really didn't know all this was going on. I played it to a T. So he gave me an offer. He said, you know what? I know and I believe in you. He said, you smart. You don't just let that go to waste. He said, I guarantee you, I want you to come to school Monday. He said, if you pass the state constitution and the federal constitution, I'm going to hand you your diploma. I was like, okay. I really didn't even know what the freak the Constitution was. I heard of it a few times when they was talking about it over the duration of social studies class, but it was like, so when I got there, I went for the sake because my mama didn't give me no choice. I had to go. I was just ready to deal with whatever was going to deal with, whatever was going to fall that day. So state, I got a 79, and federal, I got 82%. So yeah, I walked out of there with my diploma. And my mama tell everybody this story because she knew it. Oh, she just did not let me weigh it down, and she framed it like everybody else because she was like, there was no reason that I shouldn't have had an 8th grade graduation, 8th grade diploma with my intelligence. I get it, but my mother actually didn't understand what I was going through socially neither. Later on, I found out this is just common. All teenagers go through it. It's like, whoa, I just did not know how to embrace it. We get to high school, it get worse. And I got to the point to where it's that I would go to school. I was in algebra 1. I was in algebra. No, pre-algebra and then algebra. But I would go in there and I would do the work. They would have the assignments on the wall. Chalkboard I doing with no problem. I sit back, sit in my chair, and I look around the room, and I would see a lot of people, and they'll be, their heads down, they working. And, my teacher would look at me, and she was like, you done? I'd be like, yeah. And she was like, you done? Yeah, I'm done. So she come and she look at the paper, and she was like, oh. So of course, when everybody done, she would call me to the board and ask me to do the problem. Of course, I did it. But once again, now that we're older, we're in high school. Once again, people are older, so I'm going to get even more and new stuff. It overwhelmed me. You guys, I dropped out again. At this point, I waited to where is it that I even ran away so that my mama was not able to get to me and make me go back. It wasn't a nice move, but I did. I technically dropped out in my sophomore year. So I did get pregnant. I had met an individual. I was more, mature than ones would think at my age, and I get it. But at the same time, it was like I didn't have a lot on my background because I didn't even finish the basics of high school. I didn't even allow myself to get to the point where I enjoyed the prom, the high school trip, the high school luncheon, and all of that. And I deprived myself of that because I allowed what I was seeing or allowing people to make me feel like on the outside to overrule me on the inside. And it wasn't because I wasn't able to do the work. I didn't want to be in the environment with them. And I wish that I had worked more on that worked on that more when I was younger, and to being able to have those experiences so that I can remember. But I didn't realize how smart I was. I thought I was just doing what was told, not understanding that everybody has a different level of how they educate and how they learn. But with me, it was just there. Later on, I found that this is my father. And when I say this man could just look at some numbers, he was like a math whiz. They would tell you. They said this man was so smart, it was unbelievable. It's like it all just went down in here. And trust me, I passed it on to my daughter because she got she got it. But I didn't realize what it was. I've always loved to read, and I didn't realize what that was enhancing as I was reading. I'm only thinking with the good grades, I'm doing what mama told me I had to do. Ain't no excuse. You got to do this. You got to go to school. But as I'm going to school and I'm dealing with this, she's not understanding what I'm dealing with. And then I'm not able, or I don't quite know how to, just share it with her and get her to understand what I'm going through. So once I dropped out and I wasn't able to go back and I start having children, once again I come into an individual. And I love that I met those type of individuals that see more in me. Okay, we know you're going to do what you're supposed to do, but for some reason we just feel like you should be somewhere else. Something going on. And trust me, y'all, and my family will tell you that I have my family, and the ones that's going to look at this, trust me, even if my uncles or aunties will look at them, they'll be like, they was telling me, man, it was pounded in my head. I wasn't registering it from them. I wasn't. It just wasn't there. But an outside individual in a situation that I went to them for help, and they just didn't just help me because it was their job, but they chose to go beyond and say, you know what, it's something more in there. And when it kind of matched up with what was being said, I don't know, for some reason I chose to say, okay, let me take that route and let me see what happens. And when I went to this individual, and at this point, I'm in my, early 20s, and now I have, my children, and the lady, and, of course I'm not going to say her name, but she basically asked me, where did I want to see myself in life? And honestly, I told her, I said, I really never thought about it. I didn't. She said, well, what is your level of education? I was like, damn, there we go. I said, well, I didn't graduate from high school. And she was like, well, what's the last grade you completed? I'm like, damn, you got to know all this? I just didn't graduate. She was like, I tell you what, we do what we call an assessment test. And we give this assessment test to see where you are. I said, okay, here we go. So I take the test. The little booklet things, and if y'all have been familiar with resources, y'all understand they give you these different booklets. So I did the booklet test. She was like, okay, you scored pretty high. She was like, I'm going to give you another booklet test. I said, damn, another booklet test? So I take the booklet test. And she said, she came back, she was like, have you ever taken your GED? And I'm like, no. And she was like, well, why don't we start there? And I'm like, do I have to do this? She was like, you should want to. She was like, yep, you got to. And I'm like, ugh. So of course, this was in the stipulations of the resource that I want to utilize in order to get some assistance, because, I'm struggling with my children. And she said, yeah, we're going to start here. So she showed me. So basically at this assessment test, I'm 12 plus. And that means that I'm over the 12th grade level. I'm reading and I'm computing math at 12th and 12 plus grade, whatever, but you get it. So she was like, I want you to take a pre-GED test. I'm like, why? And She like, because you need to. She was like, because I want you to, this is where you got to start. She was like, in your assessment, this is what we have. They created a plan as far as what they needed me to do, what steps I needed to take in order to get to whatever goals. And of course, it was the first time I really even set some goals. So I said some stuff like, okay, I'm going to get me a job and I'm going to get this GED that you say I should get. I ain't gonna lie, it gave me direction. I just didn't see it then, but it gave me direction. I was good with where if you told me what to do, I was going to do it. And especially because I was older now, there was more of a confidence. I was more mature to where that I was comfortable on sharing what I wanted to share. And I felt, but you know what I'm saying, still was a little feisty because I was young too. So of course I took this test, this pre-GED test. And yeah, I scored high on it as well. And I scored so high that they chose to pay for me to take the GED test. Now, I'm like, this just, it doesn't end. But, okay, fine. And we begin to have more one-on-ones. And with the one-on-ones, this particular individual really began to boost my self-esteem up as to make me start thinking about what I wanted to do. And one of the first positions that I had got was at a hotel. And it was at a front desk. And I hadn't, had any type of level of education. So when I had went and took the GED test, I passed the first time, you guys. And I obtained my GED in 2000. And I felt good. It was amazing. I scored high enough where is it that they were going to offer me a scholarship to a college. I didn't really understand that neither. I'm just being honest, I didn't. But I felt like, okay, so I got this, and honestly, it did feel good. It felt amazing to know. And I scored high on language and math. So we had to write an essay, and the essay that I wrote from the heart. Talked about the first time when I met my sister. And I still have these actual results and scores to this day, you guys, and it made me feel good. So when I showed it to this particular person, they were overwhelmed, they were loving it and this and that, and I landed my first job. And another woman, she seen something in me and she put me on, the front desk of, the hotel, bought me a suit and everything. I really didn't know about computers and didn't understand it, but she trained me and told me to pay attention to icons, and I was like, Later on, I took an interest to it. I enjoyed hospitality, and I'm like, man, this is what's up. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling this. And later on, I began to do some research, and I attempted to, I literally registered for college 2 separate times. And I did not go. It wasn't successful. I didn't go. I just registered. I didn't get beyond it. The 3rd time, I registered, and I got to a point where I actually even, got the financial assistance. And I found myself not being able to be committed to it. And honestly, you guys, there was a bit of me, because I was in a traditional setting, I felt what I was beginning to feel when I was in high school again. And it caused me to not be committed to it, I'm going to be honest with you. But like a couple of years later, I decided to be adamant about it. And I went fully, you guys. And I was in a traditional setting. And I had my ups and downs, and this is the true story. One time we took a midterm, and I'm going to share this with my teacher, and I love her dearly, and she'll know who this is. She rode that wave out with me. It was just me and her in that class taking a midterm, and she was like, I cannot believe this. She gave me an extra 10 points. I aced it, so I had 110 points. And it felt good. It felt great. And I sat there and I sat around. I ain't gonna lie, I used to sit around in the school, in the classroom, when it would be like me and this other lady in there, because it was actually me and her was going there. There was many days. It was just me and her, me and her. We just come. What are y'all doing? What are you doing? But I told myself, I said, okay, you know what you got to do. And I graduated with honors, you guys. Hey. I have an associate's degree in business administration / hospitality management, lodging and hospitality management. I scored so high that, like I said, I was in the honors, top honors, and I also did the student speech, the graduate speech, and it felt so good. To this day, my teacher, I literally follow her, and she follows me on Instagram. So to her little one, who was basically in her belly throughout the time that, we were going to school, she was amazing. I had some other teachers and some other classes that was amazing too. But this was my main teacher, and she rode that storm out with me. So you guys, I walked across the stage with a cap and gown, yeah. Y'all just don't know. That made me feel so good. And my daughters was right there. I remember we took a picture and I had my cap and hat on, and we both were kissing me, my daughters, and I did that. And on my own, in a traditional setting with people, y'all, even they was blowing me and but I did it, and I did it for me. And my grandmother was no longer with me when I did it, but I remember after I got my GED, that's one of the things she said before she passed. She's like, Christy, do me one favor. Make sure you do something with your education. And I did. So I wanted to pursue. And yes, I went on ahead and I pursued, and I went to Ashford. I actually took an online course. You guys, this time my mind I was focused. It was still some things that I did not quite know, but when I first started the course, I wanted online. I did, because I just wanted to make sure I focused. I didn't have a computer, and I didn't have no internet. And I made it my business, because the advisor informed me that there was an app that I could actually download. I utilized the app. I went to the library at least 5 times a week and used my 2 hours. I made sure that I utilized my phone to pull up my books. I took my notes. And I did it. I did it. I did get to accounting, and I failed. I failed Algebra 2 first time. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to complete to get my diploma within the 5 years that I was granted. But I will say this, you guys. I did so good that I am 30 credits away from a bachelor's, and it feel good. I'm going back. I'm going to do it for me. I just know that I got to get myself in that, band, because I've exhausted kind of, resources with the funding for it. But, I'm telling y'all, this is a true story, and anybody that know this, I'm not even able to count how many essays I wrote, y'all. When I say that I wrote an essay at least 5 times a week, I did it. That's why I love to write. That's why I have my blogs now. That's why I'm going to finish my book. I can hear my family in my head. I'm going to finish my book, but I did that. I pat myself on the back by myself. My children have even gave me that praise and recognition. Say, Mama, you did that. I'm telling you, I was on that phone typing my butt off. And when I stopped going at that time, I was either at a 3.4 or 3.5. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Now they made honors, and I feel so good because I knew. And once I got to the point where is it that I wasn't worried about what others was thinking or they were doing, but understand that I had to look at the bigger picture and the goal. And that's what I want y'all to understand. Those out there that's looking at that video, stay focused on the goal and what it is that you want to do. You're not able to change people. They might not like you. They might not want you in your clique. They might not want you in your group, but that's okay. You know what? You just might not be everybody's cup of tea. But you know what? It doesn't still mean that you're that tea. And I had to figure that out. And I'm so thankful. Because once I did start figuring out, even with the boost from the people that seen something in me, I'm thankful. And I pass it on. And I hope that there's somebody out there was able to receive that and be able to get that message and know that, man, despite that, keep going. And it even gave me the boost to do things like this, so I feel good. Yes, when my finances get right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to get them 30 credits completed, and I'm going to move on to my master's. My story continues. I thank you all so much for tuning in. Remember, this is no complaint day. Feel good. I ask you once again to go ahead and press the like button. Please go ahead and subscribe to your girl. I thank you so much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. Hey, we'll see one another again soon. Bye-bye.